Back here on Sports Talk, we got Tyler McManus, LSU catcher. Tyler, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah, so your grad transfer coming over to LSU, what made you make that decision so quickly?
It was a no-brainer when I stepped on campus. Getting here, being a lifelong LSU fan, growing up in South Louisiana, about an hour and a half away in Slidell. Always been an LSU fan since both my parents graduated from nursing school over there, and then stepping on campus and having them like a personable conversation with both Coach Kelly and Coach Johnson, seeing the facilities, which are amazing. I couldn't pass up the opportunity. I thought I was going to sleep on the thought of committing, and ended up committing the same day. Just knew it was where I wanted to be and where I needed to be, and can't wait to compete.
How excited are you about Jay Johnson as the coach? Have you talked to him as well?
Yes, we've been talking for about 2 weeks, phone calls here and there, and then finally getting to meet him this past week. I couldn't be more excited. Just the way he talks about hitting and the process of starting first day we get on campus, getting to work, all phases of it, weight room, on the field, off the field, nutrition, everything about it, and just like the mental approach to the game of baseball is huge. And to develop a guy who has 1 year left and to talk about that even on his visit just excites me, and I just can't wait to get after it.
How does he talk about hitting? Can you give us an example?
He said it starts with your routine, and your routine starts before like the game starts, and we start with some early work and then come back, and then we take BP and in and out and all that great stuff a couple hours before the game, and then once you find your routine, it became easier and easier to go out and perform in front of a big crowd. We play SEC baseball, tons of fans come and watch our games, and it could be nerve-rattling at times, but when you go through the same process, it becomes easier. I think that's going to be huge.
Tyler McManus, LSU transfer from Samford University, grad transfer, plays catcher from Slidell. And originally, Tyler, out of Slidell, you wanted an opportunity to go to LSU, and now you have that opportunity, but was it a numbers game?
I'm not really sure. I was kind of under-recruited coming out of high school. I ended up walking on at Delgado and just kind of believing myself, knew that I can go out there and compete with the best of them, been playing with the best of them in travel ball and high school baseball as well at the highest level, and just knew I could compete, knew I could prove myself. I just had to get the right set of eyes on me.
Joe Sherman, we had him on, Delgado baseball coach. We had him on yesterday. He spoke very highly of you. Just what did Joe Sherman, how did he help improve your game?
Coach Joe taught me how to play the game right. That is probably one of the best game managers I've ever played for, and just knowing the ins and outs of baseball, specific counts, parts of the game. Defensively, offensively, there was nobody at that time in my life that I could ever compete with the mental aspect of the game that Coach Joe brought to me and to my game, and that's like stuck with me since I showed up on Delgado's campus.
Tyler McManus, LSU transfer from Samford University. He's a grad transfer, playing 1 more year. He's got 1 more year of eligibility, and he plays catcher, obviously, right out of Slidell. Tyler, where do you assess your game right now with 1 year to go? Where do you feel like you need to improve?
I would say, I guess defensively, I had a pretty solid year offensively, but I feel like there's always work to be done with new arms. I feel like there's just got to be time put in, and seeing guys throw over and over and over again, understand their tendencies, and then coming underneath a new pitching coach and pitch calling system will be huge. Just putting in time, getting those reps done, that'll be big for me moving on to this next stage.
What organization did you play travel baseball with?
I played with a few. Started, but mostly like North Shore Prospects out of a little baseball facility here in Slidell.
Okay. I was just curious. I've been in the travel circuit before. I was just curious if I knew an organization. I'm familiar with the North Shore Prospects.
Okay,
so
cool.
346, 11 home runs, 53 RBIs last year. Not bad. Have you taken a look at who else has been added to this roster at LSU since Jay Johnson has been named the head coach, along with some holdovers like Dylan Cruz and Cade Doty and Trey Morgan?
We kind of talked a little bit about it on my visit. I know the All-American third baseman from Arizona is coming this way. And obviously the guys that produced last year on the LSU team. I just couldn't be more excited to get to know these guys, get in a rhythm with them, and compete. I feel like we're dangerous. There's a lot of teams in the country that can hit, but I feel like if we put it all together and get going in the system, it's going to be tough to beat us.
How'd you enjoy your time at Samford?
I loved it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Kind of weird. Didn't really know much about it. Then I went there and met some lifelong best friends, whether that be coaches, trainers, and especially teammates and even other athletes. Everybody around you is so personable. The character instilled in every one of those athletes on that campus is just unreal. And, I mean, the Kristian aspect of it, I couldn't be more thankful for where it's brought me in my faith, and even to leadership in my faith. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Tyler, you mentioned you grew up an LSU baseball fan. Is there an LSU player that you grew up maybe trying to emulate your game after? Is it Micah Gibbs or somebody like that?
It was actually a little bit before that. I really loved the Harris brothers, and it was funny because one of them ended up being my high school coach. Clay was my high school coach, and it was real cool. I mean, obviously we got to work in the same area, so it was less starstruck and more of a working relationship. But he actually called me earlier today, and just to have that relationship and somebody that's been through the whole process, and then his brother being an MLB All-Star, just knows every phase of the game, been at every level. It's real cool.
As a fan growing up, I'm sure you're very familiar with how rabid the fans are, how much they genuinely care about that LSU baseball program. Have you thought at all about what that's going to be like your first night putting on the LSU baseball uniform and playing in front of 10,000 people at the historic Alex Box Stadium?
I can't wait. We got to play in that Starkville Regional, and I know Mississippi State claims they got all these great fans, but I know there's nothing like being in the box on a weekend series. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, Duty Noble Field's pretty raucous. That's for sure. They got it going on.
When they start screaming for you than against you, though.
What's that?
It's a whole lot better when they start screaming for you rather than against you, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, listen, Tyler, good luck, and thanks for coming on the show. We certainly appreciate it. Good luck with LSU.
Thank you, Kristian. Means a lot.
All right, take care. Tyler McManus.